Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus a little bit of insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is AMC Movie News senior editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey guys, welcome back to AMC Movie Talk. I'm so happy that finally X-Men news has dropped on a day I'm in the studio.
Also here, writer-director John Schnapp.
What's going on, everybody? Happy to be here on a Tuesday.
And also here, editor-in-chief for Collider.com, Stephen Frosty Weintraub.
I would like to thank you guys for having me back, and congrats on the new crane.
Thank you.
Well, it has been confirmed that Bryan Singer is returning to direct X-Men Apocalypse. Simon Kinberg is penning the screenplay from a story that he worked on with Singer and X2 scribes Michael Dougherty and Dan Harris. The film takes place a decade after Singer's X-Men Days of Future Past, and we'll see the return of first-class cast members, including James McAvoy as Professor X, Michael Fassbender as Magneto, Jennifer Lawrence as Raven, as well as Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It's also being reported, however, that we will be introduced to a younger Cyclops, Storm, and Jean Grey. On that notion, Kinberg stated, if we included some of the original X-Men like Storm and Jean and Scott and other in Apocalypse, yeah, we'd have to recast them, as Apocalypse takes place a good 20 years before the first X-Men, which was now insanely a good 10 to 15 years ago. It would be really hard to do. Halle Berry and Famke Janssen and Jimmy Marsden and others have done such wonderful jobs of bringing those parts to life and are so identified with those parts now. So it would be a tall task. But I also would have said before First Class that there would be no actors who can stand alongside Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. Amy Rose, what do you make of all this X-Men news?
It is such a good time to be an X-Men fan right now. I'm just like basking in all the joy from this. First things first, Bryan Singer back to direct, amazing move. X-Men Days of Future Past still remains my favorite film of the year, at least in that domain, blockbusters. It's my favorite X-Men film by a lot, and I thought it did such an incredible job at just like utilizing where we're at technology-wise, giving each character their moment, like the action sequences, everything. I thought it was a brilliant film. Obviously, the controversy surrounding him has subsided after they saw how much money First Class has made them. I mean, Days of Future Past. So I'm really glad he's back to direct. You know, this is his fourth time directing an X-Men film. He knows what he's doing. He knows the property. Love that. Kinberg back, also great. I love the team doing this. X2, it wasn't in my faves, but I also thought it was a pretty solid film. And then we have the, obviously, recasting. I mean, it makes sense. It would not make sense to recast these other characters as the younger versions and then reintroduce. And obviously we got, I'm in spoiler territory for Days of Future Past at this point, so we got little nods of Famke and like some of the other characters, which was really fun. But frankly, I don't like what they did with Cyclops in the film rendition, so I'm looking forward to them maybe giving the character a little more justice and doing that right. I am most disappointed with Jean Grey's recasting because I love Famke Janssen. I think she is a goddess, and she completely was fabulous in that character. And then Halle Berry, I can't say I've actually loved her rendition of Storm either. She's adequate. She's also a goddess, but I just, I'm okay with it. So all in all, I'm so freaking excited for Apocalypse. I cannot wait to see how they get all that going on with Horsemen and everything. And I'm glad Singer is back, but the recasting, I mean, I do have faith in their team, but it will be interesting to see who they get this, because, you know, he's right. Kinberg is completely right. You would have never thought you could recast Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. I mean, they're so incredible, but Fassbender and McAvoy have done a great job, so we'll see who they get. Frosty, how do you take all this news?
I'm super excited that everyone's back for the movie, like you. I think that it might be sacrilege to some, but I do think you have to recast. I think that it doesn't make sense to have someone who's 20 year, you know what I mean? You have to recast. And I'm not sure where, what interview it was when I learned this, but I know that they're planning on doing Storm with a mohawk, and I don't think that that Halle is going to, you know, I don't think she's going to pull that off, and I think you need to have a new person, a new actor come in who's willing to own that and have 80s Storm. Yeah. And honestly, I'm so amped up to see that and to see what they're going to do. I'm very excited, and I do think that recasting is the way to go.
Yeah, Schnapp?
Well, Yeah, recasting, I'm excited about the recasting news. And I'm sure, just like in Days of Future Past, there'll be that little nugget. Maybe it's Wolverine having a dream, but maybe they'll bring Marsden and Famke back just for that little moment, you know? Or it could begin and end with, you know, the Days of Future Past present cast, and then we go back into the 80s, you know? There's so many possibilities that have been opened up because of Days of Future Past that recasting is no problem. I just want to see the X-Men, you know? And so I'm really excited. I didn't hear about that Storm with the Mohawk. That just got me like, yeah,
right.
you know?
Did you guys like those three in those roles specifically, though? The three that are being recast? I'm curious your thoughts on that.
I liked X2 and the way that James Marsden was portrayed in Cyclops, and I liked him and Wolverine's back and forth. It was different. He wasn't the leader like he was and always most of the time is in X-Men. Maybe they're gonna correct that with this new version. They're gonna be like, no, Cyclops is the leader in this new version. So.
Well, the other thing, though, is when X2 came out, it's a whole different world with comic book movies, whole different world with movies in general, and I think now you can do a lot. And also, it comes down to, really it comes down to the script, because Storm has never really been written. I've never been a fan of the way Halle Berry portrays the role, but it also, she hasn't really been given that much to work with.
Right.
It's very hard to be like a one-dimensional character and make it three-dimensional when the words aren't there on the page. And so it's going to be very interesting to see what Simon does, Simon Kinberg, the screenwriter, with the script. But look, they have a great story to work with, and they have the great era of the 80s, and there's a lot you can do with this.
Dazzler cameo! Get that Dazzler cameo!
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to see if they use this also to launch, you know, if we see Gambit and Deadpool and how they, you know, bring this, because I mean, X-Men times. I mean, we're taking over the world, and it's a great, great time. But yeah, I really am curious to see, especially Channing Tatum as that character.
But I don't know if that can happen because it's going to be in the 80s.
Exactly.
So if you put in Gambit and stuff, it's going to be located in the 80s, and I'm not sure they want to.
How they would work that out.
Yeah, because this is one of those questions of you. This is definitely going to be interesting because if they put characters in that time period, then they're locking them sort of in that era, and it'll be interesting to see. This is where they make some big decisions, but with Deadpool coming out, I think that's going to probably be more modern. But that's just a guess.
It would be interesting, though, because, or do the younger transitioning as well and introduce them as like a little tip of the hat, like, this is our universe expanding. Like, I don't know what they're going to do, because they play with time so much already, you know?
The 80s Apocalypse one will go to the 90s Image style, everybody with the pouches. You know, that'll be fun. Like, that's why, yeah, it's perfect to bring in Deadpool then, you know?
I'm so excited. Okay, what's next?
Angelina Jolie has found her next directorial effort in the form of Africa, the true story of Richard Leakey. Based on Eric Roth's script, who previously penned Forrest Gump, the story focuses on the paleoanthropologist who was involved in a violent battle with elephant poachers in Kenya in 1989. On choosing the project, Jolie stated, "I've felt a deep connection to Africa and its culture for much of my life, and was taken with Eric's beautiful script about a man drawn into the violent conflict with elephant poachers who emerge with a deeper understanding of man's footprint and a profound sense of responsibility for the world around him." Schnepp, do you think this is a good fit for Jolie to tackle?
Yeah, I think this is right in her wheelhouse, and what a potent thing to tackle right now with elephants going extinct, people still killing them for their ivory. I think it's horrifying that it's still happening now, and Leakey was fighting it like, you know, 2 decades ago. So, you know, I think it's going to be a very moving and heartfelt film. I can tell you right now that it's going to, you know, hopefully establish a stronger foothold on preserving, you know, not only elephants, but like most of the wildlife that's in Africa. So,
Frosty?
Listen, I think she's Unbroken is going to be the real test. How does that film deliver? And then we'll really have a better idea of her handling on material. Listen, I'm always down for seeing projects that help conservation and protect animals. I will always support that. But I really do hope, and I haven't read the script, I do hope that the film addresses there's a reason why poaching happens, and that is because of the economic difficulty in the countries where it takes place. And if there was more financial incentives to not poach and to protect the animals, then these animals would be saved. And hopefully this will raise awareness on what we can do as a richer society on protecting animals.
yeah, I was going to add, it's not just protecting animals, but it's it's enriching the environment, the society, and the culture so that people won't attack the animals. Yeah, it's definitely that. So.
Yeah, what I love about Angelina Jolie is that she is not afraid to tackle these difficult subject matters. This will be her, third biopic. This will be her fourth film because she's doing that Brad Pitt film, By the Sea, is that what it's called? And that'll be fun to see them together again. But yeah, I love that she's so, other than her work, as an actress and producer and all that, her ambassador, just being a UN Nations representative and just really being part of different initiatives all around the globe. I just really respect her as a human, and these are tough subject matters to breach. And I'm also really impressed because I do think you're right. Unbroken will be the test because that is another biopic. It screams Academy season. I also heard that Jack O'Connell, that's like his breakout performance, and I'm yet to see that as well because I haven't been too impressed. But everything I've seen looks great. So I just feel like just what she's going for, she becomes more and sophisticated every single blah, 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 blah. She tackles. It's one of those days. But yeah, I'm really impressed with her. And I think this sounds really interesting. And you're right. Just bringing awareness to an important subject matter like that through her lens is a no-brainer good idea to me. So hats off to you.
I have to say something real quick. I saw a film called 71, which everyone's starting to talk about right now. And I heard it's coming out at the beginning of next year to sort of ride on. Jack O'Connell stars in 71. It's an amazing film. I cannot recommend it enough. It'll be out early next year. And please remember, 71, can't recommend it enough.
And Start Up, I heard, is also
that's also kind of good.
With him in it, which I haven't seen.
So hopefully by early next year, after Unbroken, people will know who he is. He's a very talented actor.
Let's do this. I'm ready. All right, guys, we have now reached the buy or sell portion of our show. The lovely Miss Mova has a couple other items picked out going on in the world of movie news, and my wonderful panel and I are going to say if we buy or sell it.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in negotiations to star in Oliver Stone's Edward Snowden biopic. Snowden is an extremely polarizing figure, and the politics surrounding the former U.S. intelligence analyst who exposed the NSA's global surveillance program are very mixed. Stone has made it very clear which side he is on and will portray in the film, however, as he has previously called Snowden a hero. Frosty, buy or sell JGL playing Snowden in Stone's biopic?
I buy it. He's an amazing actor. He can probably do anything he wants. I'm just more nervous about Oliver Stone and what the script's going to do. And I mean, it's a polarizing subject. I'm totally down for seeing what they're going to do. And I'm going to buy it for now because of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's involvement. I don't think he would do it unless his script was okay.
Yeah, I'm also going to buy it for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, Oliver Stone, we will not forget his incredible contributions early on in his career, but the last few have been really mixed. Savages, I actually didn't hate Savages. I thought it was interesting. I would have liked if they ended it the first time I thought it was actually ending, then the way they tied it up, whatever. But I didn't think it was a god-awful mess like a lot of people did. But, he just did W and a couple other films in this realm. So yeah, I'm mostly buying it for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I think he has so much talent. I love that he's, directing as well, and I think this is a really good move for his career because we haven't seen something like this, a polarizing figure like this. So, and I know there's a couple other Snowden projects in the works, but this one I think is going to fast track the quickest. So, Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to buy it for Stone and for Levitt. I mean, I think if Stone is able to keep the script outside of his opinion and make it more fact-based.
You think he's going to be able to do that?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I'm hoping. I'm gonna hold out. I'm on a branch. It's breaking, but we'll see. So I'm buying it. So.
Cool. What's next?
Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage is attached to star in The Thicket, based on the crime thriller by Joe Lansdale. The story centers on a young man who goes on a quest to rescue his sister after she has been kidnapped by a violent killer and enlists the help of a crafty bounty hunter named Shorty, paid by Dinklage. Amy Rose, buy or sell Dinklage joining The Thicket?
I could not buy this fast enough. I mean, Dinklage being a bounty hunter? Give me a break. I mean, beyond just being the imp on Game of Thrones and Bolivar Trask and all these at the station agent, I mean, Peter Dinklage has style, and I just love him so much. He's so talented, and this just signed me up. I read it the first time. I was like, in. I don't care about any other pieces of the puzzle. I'm in. Frosty?
I'm buying it. Done. I have nothing to say. He's a phenomenal actor. I'm willing to see anything he does. And also, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of him in Pixels, the Adam Sandler movie.
No,
Yes.
I haven't yet.
He's essentially, if you've seen the documentary King of Kong, he's essentially playing Billy Mitchell. And so just imagine, look up on Google Peter Dinklage Pixels, look at his outfit, and then imagine Billy Mitchell from King of Kong, the Donkey Kong. Anyway,
it's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm totally buying this, but at first I was gonna sell it. I was like, I can't believe it. They're calling him Shorty. So I had to look it up, and I looked up the book, read the synopsis of the book, and I'm ordering the book today. I cannot wait. This is gonna be the most kick-ass Western that I can't wait to see. I love Westerns when they're done right, and especially when they're done down and dirty and violent. And that's what this book is. I mean, that's what the book is, and hopefully that's what the movie's gonna be, because Shorty and his other partner is this black guy who's got a 600-pound pig. They're partners. Cannot wait to see them wreak havoc. A little boy hires them to find his sister, and they have to go into the harsh world of the Wild West. I'm so excited to see. I want to see it tomorrow.
It sounds amazing.
I'm going to read this book, yeah.
I'll borrow it when you're done.
Yes.
All right, what's next?
Matt Damon and Breaking Bad star Bryan Cranston are circling Yimou Zhang's The Great Wall, coming out of Legendary Pictures. Tony Gilroy, known for writing credits on The Bourne Identity and State of Play, is penning the screenplay, which is set to reveal the legend behind a great mystery of our age, why this magnificent structure came to be. Should that buy or sell Damon and Cranston joining the Great Wall?
First, I have to sell that double smirk photo. Sorry, guys. But no, I'm buying it. But you know, which one of them is playing Attila the Hun? I don't really understand what the movie's going to be about. So I'm going to tentatively buy it.
Frosty?
I'm going to sell it because Bryan Cranston and Matt Damon are terrible actors, and I don't think they can pull off anything, especially Bryan Cranston. What has he done that's good? Okay, being serious, I know I'm buying it, and I think that the story is that it's like a fantasy type thing of how the Great Wall was built, and the original script I think has to do with like creatures, and that's maybe.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like I could be wrong, but I think it has to do with like the wall was built to keep people out. But I don't know if that's the script that they're making now, because the project has been sort of circling for a little while. They've been talking about making it. But if Bryan Cranston and Matt Damon are both involved,
I don't want creatures to be in it.
Again, I don't know if that's.
I just want it to be real. I don't want
Time and
the
place
Great
for
Wall
creatures.
is keeping a giant troll inside.
No, again.
Maybe that was true, Schnepp.
All right.
Again,
maybe I'll see it.
I'm not 100%, but I think there was a fantasy type element to the project. But again, maybe that's not there anymore. But if they're involved, then obviously I want to see it. You know.
I also heard that, so we'll see how it shakes out. But if you're gonna have fantasy, that director doesn't get much better than that. Right. So I do think that these three together would be fascinating. Bryan Cranston, I mean, I just love that man, and he can do anything. He can do no wrong to me. Matt Damon, same kind of thing, and I feel like they both haven't tackled this. I do agree. Who would they play in this film? Because obviously, you know, the Great Wall of China, I mean, we'll just see how it unfolds.
Now that you guys just talked about it, now I just saw the trailer where it's like them standing at the Great Wall and some giant monster rising there like, we will save the world. You know, it's holding out demons. That's it.
Heisenberg versus the Great Wall. Bring it!
It should be noted, though, that there is a reason why a lot of projects are happening in China right now, and that's because the explosion of Chinese box office and financial investment in the film industry, which is why you're going to see more and more projects taking place in and around China because of just financial motivation.
Exactly, so and kind of like our own country where we just throw films to Detroit, China's becoming that.
Wait, it's 4,500 miles. Why not use it? You know.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Before we get into mailbag, we are going to take a couple live Twitter questions from you guys today. So you can go ahead and tweet to Miss Mova, our gatekeeper for today, at AMC Movie News on Twitter. So what's the first mailbag question?
Jake Choi wrote, "Hi AMC movie folk, I love your show a lot. You have very interesting and fun people. My question is, for the new Deadpool movie in 2016, I know that Ryan Reynolds has a big chance to be Deadpool. If he isn't, who else do you think would be a great Deadpool? Thanks."
Thank you for the question. I mean, it definitely is a hypothetical because I'm pretty positive Ryan Reynolds is going to sign on. He was in the test footage. This is his baby. He's been championing it, but we love to play the hypothetical game in this industry. Is there anyone that comes to mind for you guys? The first thought I had was Ben Foster. I think that, you know, he would be really incredible at it. And I mean, he's smart, talking, witty, incredibly talented. We've seen him be a badass warrior before. So I definitely think he could do justice. That's the first name that popped in my head. If I really try to think about it, I might come up with other ones. But do you have any names that came top of mind?
I thought Christopher Walken, and then I thought Abe Vigoda, and then I said, screw both of those names. Why not Ryan Reynolds? There's no one else. But yeah, I mean,
I like Christopher Walken.
Yeah, you could go with anybody because you could just have it could just be an amazing athlete and have a voiceover. I mean, you're not really going to see his face that much. So.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that there's it's a question of how often is he going to be wearing the mask. And I could make a joke about all these different actors, but it's going to be Ryan Reynolds.
It is.
Yeah.
So there's
just make a joke. Who else?
Just make a joke.
I was really thinking about Andy Garcia.
Yeah.
I like it. But, I mean, he interacts with the audience, breaking the fourth wall a lot. So, having that vocal component is really important to connect with the audience.
It's going to be Ryan Reynolds. It's such a perfect role for him.
Perfect for him.
It's perfect. He owns it.
This isn't even a maybe. It's going to be Ryan
I think
Reynolds.
Blade Trinity, but then I think Deadpool. Like his last role where he had a lot of, comments and snarky. He was like getting ready to play Deadpool while he was playing Hannibal King.
I'm still going for Christopher Walken now if we can't have Deadpool. So let's do this. All right, what's next?
Corey wrote, "Hey AMC family, I dig the show and catch it every day. So I went and saw what could very well be a masterpiece of a movie or the biggest POS I have seen. I am torn and I guess that is the sign of a really good movie. Have any of you seen Tusk and what are your thoughts on it? Thanks and keep on keeping on."
I am so excited to finally get to talk about this crazy madness of a movie, all right? I saw this a couple weeks ago for AMC Independent, interviewed Kevin Smith, the whole cast. This movie has haunted me to no end. It is the most disturbing, wacky, bizarre film, absurdism at its finest, and Kevin Smith is a freaking genius because I literally cannot stop talking about it, inserting it in conversation, just thinking about it. I cannot unsee the horror of what that film is, and I gotta tell you, that was one of the most fun junkets I've done in a long time because when you read a script like this, you just know you're in for a wild ride, and that's what Smith does. You love it, you hate it. It has inserted its way into this conversation everywhere, so you gotta think he's onto something, and that's art to me. Even if it rubs you the wrong way, if you cannot stop thinking about it or talking about it, it has affected you, and that's art to me. So I know you saw it recently. What did you think, Schnepp?
Yeah, I was gonna say you should insert yourself into a theater seat and go see that movie while it's still playing at the theaters. I loved it. I mean, it is a perfect midnight movie. And it is so funny. I think if you go see the film with the right sensibilities and the right sense, it's not the Human Centipede. A lot of people are like, I can't wait to get scared. It's not that kind of a movie. It's a fun, popcorn, midnight movie. It's incredibly well written, too. I mean, Smith just keeps getting better and better and better. And I can't wait to see his other horror movies. He's doing like 2 more. So this is gonna be like the first of a trilogy of super freaky midnight movies. And I love the performances. Long was incredible.
He was so good.
What Parks?
Dude, Michael Parks is like the best
incredible
horror master ever.
Oh my God, chilling.
Scary.
His little smirks, his evil smirks. I mean, I enjoyed that movie 100%. I can't recommend it highly enough.
I'm going to go out and say, first of all, I have not seen it yet.
Aww.
But I'm going to be the voice of the other side and say that I've spoken to a number of people that did not like it, specifically the third act. They said that, without going into spoilers, when someone shows up and the film sort of takes a right turn for like 10 minutes.
I think they know what the film is about by now.
No, but I don't want to. I'm against spoilers, so I'll just say that the film takes a right turn for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then the people I've spoken to say that it doesn't recover after that. But until then, it's a very smart, witty script, so on and so forth. But again, I haven't seen it yet.
Let me argue with those people and say that when that sequence happens, the film elevates. It's like this, and then it just takes another step up towards art film, crazy madness, midnight movie. Effed up is what it is.
Effed up.
It's effed up.
Let's be clear, I will never see that movie again, like ever. So I can't say I liked it, but it has stuck with me. And I can appreciate really absurd films that just are so bold and take risk and just say, I'm gonna make the movie I wanna make and I'm gonna freak out all of you guys. And that's what you did. So I can respect that, but I can't say I'm ever gonna own this movie or watch it again. And when I was watching it, I was with Alicia and I was like, what is happening? It's one of those films that after I just wanted to talk about it because I was just so disturbed by it. But again, I can separate my enjoyment from thinking that that is its own art form and its own genre. So hats off to you, Smith, but you have messed me up. All right, guys, definitely let us know if you've seen Tusk in the comments and what you thought about it because I'm very, very curious. All right, Miss Mova, what Twitter questions have piqued your interest today?
Henry Mertens writes, "Hi AMC, do you like the movie Space Jam, and is there any news on the possible sequel? Thanks."
Well, go ahead, start this one off.
That is just not what I expected in any way, shape, or form. I think there were rumblings that they were developing a sequel, or there was something going on, but personally, I don't see it ever happening. Or if it's going to be a sequel, it will be called something else. But
Tell me rumblings.
no, but wasn't there something that not too long ago?
There was.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not completely off base on this.
There was. They were working on a Space Jam 2 for a while, and it just fell apart.
But I mean, I think that it's important, and a lot of people forget that like 95% of the things that we cover are never going to get made. They're just stuck in development hell. So I remember enjoying Space Jam for what it was. I never have to see it again. But
Like Tusk.
there we go. But there's a lot of movies I'd like to see a sequel to prior to Space Jam.
Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit Part 2, you know?
Dick Tracy, part 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of Part 2s I want to see before Space Jam Part 2. I'm not waiting for it. In fact, I
Yes,
remember
you
just like, yeah,
are.
I am. I've got 5 posters in there. I just look at them all the time. This poster's better than no, this one. What about, the one above me? That's the
Shampoo
one.
is better.
Yeah, Space Jam, come on. I don't know.
I'm in the same boat. Like, I think I enjoyed it for what it was as well, but I don't really care about a sequel.
Who are we going to team Bugs Bunny up with this time from basketball?
John Schnapp.
Dunk. I don't get it.
What's next, Ashley?
Travis Lynch writes, "Hey AMC, would it be a letdown for you if they did not go with the red suit for Deadpool?"
Oh yes, it would be a major letdown. That is a signature suit, and that's what I want. Gentlemen?
Yeah, he should definitely not be wearing the red suit. They should change him completely, and maybe sew his mouth shut. What? No, it should be the red suit. Come on.
Yeah, it's the red suit.
Next.
J.R. Real writes, "Who needs to be the first Batman villain in Ben Affleck's standalone film? Me personally, I want to see Penguin."
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this as well. I mean, Batman's villains are the most incredible, and they're not going to do Joker for a while, obviously following Heath Ledger. So I do think Penguin would be a good mix. I would be interested to see who they got after Danny DeVito, to play that role. So I'd be curious. Riddler's another really good one. I mean, there's a lot of good ones that they could bring back for this generation because those villains were so different in those films, specifically, Burton and just like that world. So I would be curious to see with Ben Affleck's tone, which I feel like is going to be more similar to Nolan's, where it's going to be more grounded in reality and all of that. And I just love him as a filmmaker. So I do think that Penguin would be a good place to start, possibly. Is there someone you guys would rather see? Or
for me, I'd rather see Black Mask. Or maybe even Clayface, not the clay creature Clayface, but the original like 1940s Clayface where he just wore a mask, Phantom of the Opera style. I don't want to see Scarecrow again. That was a question that was earlier in the week because he was in all 3 of Nolan's. Riddler would be cool for me too. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they have to start off right away with a Joker. I'd like leave him, maybe bring him like they did with the Dark Knight as the second one, or leave him for the third.
yeah.
This is going to sound crazy, but I wouldn't mind seeing an original villain or an original character in the movie. And I mean, as you stated, it is going to be taking place. You have to look at Man of Steel as the template for the universe that they're creating, grounded in science, how you can justify everything that's happening, and that's how the Ben Affleck Batman movie is going to be, grounded in real-world technology. And I think that it would be very interesting to see an original character, someone who's trying to get under the skin of Batman, a Riddler-type character, but it doesn't have to be the Riddler. And I like the idea of planting some select Easter eggs towards what's going to be obviously future installments. But I wouldn't mind seeing something original.
Yeah. Couldn't be bad. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't utilize Two-Face a little more because I did like Aaron Eckhart in that, but I don't feel like they developed the storyline as much as I would have liked to see. But yeah, original could be interesting, but they do have such an amazing armory to select from. So whew, I'm excited. All right, 2 more.
All right, Lucas Novo writes, "When will we see a new Three Musketeers movie?"
I don't know, but the last one was not good, so I haven't heard any rumblings.
Oh, it's the 12th of Never. The 12th of Never.
I think, isn't there a Three Musketeers show on the BBC right now?
I have no idea.
I think there's something like that airing in the BBC, so I think that if you're hungry for the Three Musketeers right now, it's on TV. And feature film-wise, it's going to probably be a little bit, or watch some of the...
Are you hungry for a Three Musketeers?
I'm okay.
Product placement.
I'm okay not having one anytime soon.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Snickers.
I think that's across the board. All right, let's end on a really good one.
All right, Sebastian Culligan writes, do you think Django Unchained could possibly get a sequel film? The rumored team up with Zorro seemed very interesting.
I mean, I love it. I love that idea because I love Django Unchained. I thought it was incredible. But we know that, you know, Tarantino is doing another Western, so it's definitely not going to happen anytime soon. And I think I feel like he's said this before, that he's more interested in pursuing other original content than doing sequels. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. More incredible, crazy characters from his brain. So I'm really into that. But does it lend itself for more adventures? Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing, the Django and Zorro in the comic book world. So, and Tarantino's 100% behind it. So why not expand the brand, so to speak, in comic books? That's fine. I can't wait for the Hateful Eight. They're doing pre-pro right now. I'm so happy that he's making that.
Me too. Thank God he got over the bruised ego. Like, I get it from an artistic standpoint, but we want it.
I wasn't really that worried that he wasn't going to make Hateful Eight. He wrote a script and he put all that time and energy in. It's very rare, especially if he liked it, that he's just going to drop it. I think he was just angry. But anyway, what's interesting is I often like sequels to a lot of stupid movies and a lot of properties, but I've never thought of a QT film getting a sequel. I've just never been in that boat.
Kill Bill?
Well, that was done as a double.
Yeah.
That was one movie.
It was, but technically it was released as, you know.
Yeah, but it was always conceived as one big film. What I'm saying is I've never thought, like, I love Pulp Fiction, but I've never thought, man, I need to get a sequel to Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's just his characters and universe are sort of perfect standalone films. But I don't need a sequel to Django. Comic book is fine. He's such an amazing filmmaker that I would much prefer seeing new characters and new situations.
You know what? If Django made an appearance in The Hateful Eight, I wouldn't be mad at it. That would be kind of cool. It is in the West. I don't know if there's a time difference, but maybe that won't happen. But I wouldn't be mad at stuff like that. I know he wrote the Vega Brothers, and that was like a script, or I don't know if it was a finished script or just an idea, but that was going to be Michael Madsen and John Travolta. They were supposed to be brothers, and he was going to bridge the worlds of Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs with that. That never happened. I know it. They all wanted to do it back in the late '90s. That didn't happen. So I don't think he's against doing something in the same world, but not a sequel. So.
I would love if they just threw him in there. That would be rad.
That'd be cool.
Well, you can look up on the Google how many Easter eggs are in QT films. There's a ton of them that connect, but it's just not connected in. Although I think there's character connections in some of the films.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
I really hope they still re-release Kill Bill to play as one film in the theaters, because I would be really, really into that.
I heard that they are going to do
they
that.
Were planning on
and they
it.
expanded that animated section, and the animators actually finished out the 2 minutes. So it's like there's this whole longer section.
I'm gonna go out on a ledge and predict the major prediction. Quentin Tarantino now owns. Well, he's owned for 7 years the New Beverly in LA. He is installing 35mm projection. He is going to be loading up all he's doing all the programming.
Right.
And I would imagine a betting man that he would probably show
the whole bloody affair.
The whole bloody affair there at some point. And look, I mean, I would go out in a heartbeat to go see that, and I'm sure a ton of his fans would show up. And if he did like a 2-week limited engagement, it'd be a madhouse.
Dude, I would camp out for
I know.
that.
That's crazy. Do it, Tarantino.
Do it.
Stop playing around with your movies. Get this thing done.
I tell you, it's a good place to end on Quentin Tarantino always. So we're going to end it right here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Tuesday. I would like to thank my wonderful panel for today. Sitting to my right, Stephen Frosty Weintraub. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Collider.com and on Twitter as ColliderFrosty.
The wonderful John Schnepp. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me at Instagram and Twitter at John Schnepp and at TDOSLWH.
And the lovely Ashley Mova. Give me that shoulder shake, lady.
I got you, girl. Twitter, Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
I know, right? Doesn't it bring a smile to your face? And I'm Amy Rose with AMC Movie News. You can find me at Amy Rosie on Twitter and Instagram. And don't forget to like us, share us. We really appreciate the support. And go see Tusk. Get in on the conversation.
Tusk, Mr. Tusk.
Mr. Tusk. And be sure to check out AMCI Indie Spotlight live tomorrow. Well, not live, but airs tomorrow. Thanks so much for all your support with that show as well. We really appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.